Welcome, I'm Dana Schlagenhaft, and thanks for joining us on Downtown Now. The 30-minute show you're about to watch is part of a storytelling project by the nonprofit Downtown Bentonville Incorporated. You're about to see the final segment of our three-part interview with Steuart Walton, focusing on Bentonville's past, present, and future. If you missed part 1 and 2, you can catch it on our website at downtownbentonville.org. Now, we asked the community to submit questions for our interview with Steuart, and by far the most popular question was simply, what is Bentonville going to look like in the future? We spoke to Steuart about his vision for the future of Bentonville and what will change look like over the next 5, 10, 20 years in our city. Take a look. Welcome back. We're going to continue our interview with Steuart Walton. We're talking about the future of our region right now, and I want to read a quote that you said on an Axios interview recently. We're going to change more in the next 5 years than we did in the last 5 years, and if we don't do that, we're failing. So I want to define the word change in that quote, and as we received questions submitted from our community, the biggest theme was, what is that vision? What is Bentonville, what is Northwest Arkansas going to look like in 30 years? So what do you think it's going to look like in 30 years, and what is your vision for our region?
Well, I'll start with what I hope it looks like.
Okay.
I hope it looks like a better version of what we are today. Mm-hmm. And I hope that today, most people in the community, if not maybe everybody, thinks that we are a better version of where we were 10 years ago, and that 10 years ago we were a better version of where we were 10 years before that. And so if you want to kind of encapsulate how we think about the future and how we think about what's possible here, there's a couple thoughts that are relevant. One is this notion of compounding interest, right? Like Warren Buffett calls it the most powerful force in the universe. And to some degree, he's right. Like, if you just keep growing and building your base and growing on that base and you know, like a big number times a small number becomes an even bigger number. And so you've got to find ways to keep, you know, that going and that growing, but your base doesn't change. Your base is always there, and like this square is always going to be here, I think. I hope. And so if you think about like what we're trying to do is we're trying to just build the best version of ourselves that we can. We're not trying to be Austin, we're not trying to be Nashville, we're not trying to be Denver or Seattle or wherever. We're trying to be Bentonville, but we're trying to be the absolute best version of Bentonville that we can be. And so what does that look like? You know, I think it's kind of what you see already. It's like arts that permeate the community, you know, whether it's public art in delightful places, whether it's unexpected neons, whether it's crystal bridges, the momentary. You know, I think it's culinary and restaurant and sort of celebrating the seasons and celebrating the different kinds of agriculture around here, and maybe building more of a regional food kind of system and distribution network, and more regional farmers supplying more local markets, supplying more local customers. And that can be everything from the farmers market to what you find over here at the neighborhood market. You know, I think it's going to be more bikes. And I'm so excited to see all the biking that's going on in town. Biking is so good for your heart, right? It's amazing for your, like, just general, as a giant truck rolls by.
it's exhaust coming our way. It's actually better on a bike.
Yeah, a biker would make no noise and not pollute. But I mean, it's good for the environment. And like, it gets you into nature, and that's good for humans. And so I love that, you know, you can ride road bikes, gravel bikes, mountain bikes. You can commute on your bike here more and more safely, not safe enough in my view. But this town, I think bikes build community. You know, there's a saying that says, great communities build great trails, and great trails build great communities. I believe you absolutely see that in Bentonville. So what else does the future look like? I think it looks like a more diverse economic fabric. When I was growing up, Bentonville, any story about Bentonville started like this. It started Bentonville, comma, home of Walmart, comma, blah, 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 blah. that's no longer the case. And I almost can't believe that that's no longer the case. Because Walmart's a pretty prominent thing to be known for a town this size. But now when you go out to Colorado or any biking destination or even places like Austin, and you say you're from Bentonville, people light up and then they start talking to you about the trails, or they start talking about crystal bridges, or they start talking to you about how their mother moved up to Beaver Lake and they came up there and they're trying to get up here somehow. You know, it's kind of amazing how this region has a little bit of a glow around it now. And so if you want to talk about like the future and what our vision for the future is, it's like, how do we keep doing things to enhance that glow? And, you know, I can't tell you where we're going to be in 5 years, but that quote really does capture the idea that we just have to keep getting better. And I think we are better today than we were 5 years ago. And in 5 years ago, if we aren't better than we are today, then we will have failed.
This is anecdotal, but I was at Kohler with my family this weekend at Airship and was commenting on the teenagers, like on packs of bikes, gathering, hanging out. And you forget when we were growing up, we hung out, not me, I wasn't a cool kid, but like they hung out in the Taco Bell parking lot. And I
There's nothing healthy about that.
No, and so you do see, and sometimes it takes that like moment of saying, these teenagers now have access to so much more than we did growing up here, and are out traveling on bikes and being
even though the landscape is the same, right?
Right.
There's just different access to it. There's different ways to engage with it. And I feel like we did miss out on that. Well, as at least in terms of like access on it from town. Like there was the Buffalo, and there was, you know, all these wonderful hikes that you could do, and we would go out and do them. But in terms of like being able to access it literally on a bike from downtown, that just was kind of it just wasn't possible.
We didn't do that.
Yeah.
And they do.
And how great is that?
I was having coffee with someone the other day telling me how his daughter goes fishing. She's 12. She gets on her bike and goes down the street and is able to fish at Osage Park.
Yeah.
And it's an experience that I wish I had had. I'm glad that my kids will have it. And it's just that's the growth that I think we've experienced here.
I think access to green space. There's one thing that I would say is like, Bentonville's growing, right? And that's not because of us. That's just because it's growing, and there's a lot of different factors there. As Bentonville grows, as Bentonville densifies, as more people move here, preserving green space and getting people access to green space that is engaging, that is powerful, that kind of attracts people, as opposed to like, they're like, oh, it's that park over there. They're like, oh my God, I live next to this amazing park. You know, you have to like work to not end up in the former bucket and get yourself in the latter bucket. I think Osage Park's like that. I think Kohler's like that. I think Memorial Park in a lot of ways to a lot of people is like that. You go by the skate park out there, it's amazing to see those kids. They are skating up a storm. It's cool.
The brisket nachos at Airship are far better than the nachos I had at Taco Bell as a kid. So I feel like we're doing
Although they
good.
may not be healthier for you. That's an open question.
I want to say there's a lot of gratitude about the investments that you've made in this region. And I would say that it's paired with curiosity and questions about the future. You said in an interview with Axios that people move to Northwest Arkansas due to the quality of life and the cost of living. And we are experiencing this influx of residents trying to escape expensive big city life, tourists, traffic, in some cases, COVID regulations that have been in their communities and their cities. And we see this influx of people moving here. A lot of people are asking, is Northwest Arkansas, is Bentonville on that trajectory to become something that people are escaping? And that's a concern.
It absolutely is. And I think what I would say is that we do have a window in time right now where I think certain investments can be made from an infrastructure point of view, I think affordable housing is going to be a really big deal. I think transportation is going to be a really big deal. And I don't have solutions to these things, but I think that we are at a point, and this isn't just Bentonville, this is across Northwest Arkansas as a region, where we can try to get ahead of some of these issues that have essentially overwhelmed places like Seattle, like Austin, to some degree Nashville, where it's basically just unaffordable for most people. And you don't want to end up in that situation. And I tell you, it would really be, I think, a miss if, say, you were a teacher in Bentonville and couldn't afford to live in Bentonville. And it doesn't take a lot of appreciation in prices for things to get out of whack and for that to start to happen. And so there's a tremendous number of efforts across a number of different organizations and people and ideas really being generated around how we as a region can get out in front of some of these very well known, somewhat well understood challenges that tend to be associated with areas that have high growth. There's no doubt that we are an area with high growth. We're a relatively small area, but we still have high growth. And if that stays and we don't do anything about it, then we very much could end up in a situation like what you're talking about.
Is that conversations with city government? What are those conversations? Who starts that and who participates in that?
That's city government, it's the Northwest Arkansas Council, it's the foundation, it's individuals, it's a variety of organizations that are around working in housing, like Community Development Corporation, the CDC here in Bentonville. It is a community-wide effort. And so how to get involved? Gosh, I mean, I think part of it is get in touch with your elected leaders. I think, get in touch with the Northwest Arkansas Council. There are going to be all kinds of opportunities, I think, going forward to get involved, whether it's through new organizations that are focused on affordable housing. But that holds true across all these issues, I'd say, like whether it's infrastructure, whether it's affordability, whether it's zoning. I mean, the ways to get involved are pretty well known, I think, and they're important. And it's great to get the feedback that we do.
So you're willing to participate in those conversations, but you don't spearhead these kind of things. I mean, that takes people in this community getting involved.
Look, nobody can do that stuff alone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are or what you have. And to be fair, like, I mean, I'm not like the Waltons. I'm Steuart Walton. So like, there might be other family members that, like my parents or my aunt or Tom, Olivia, my wife, who are doing things in the community. And it's not like that we're all on the same page. I'm sure you have siblings or parents or cousins that you might think, man, I'm not sure I'd do that. But, like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And like, there's a number of us living here, and we're all trying to, help make Bentonville be the best version of itself that it can be. We all have a little different take on what that looks like. And so there are people spearheading things, and there are people pushing ideas and conversations, and I'm wildly supportive of all of it because I think that we need a diversity of initiatives and agendas and people, and everybody's going to bring their own talent. But there are some big issues that we have to solve, and it's not going to be one person, it's not going to be one family, it's going to be a region-wide effort, and there'll be heaps of ways to be involved.
All right, we've come to the final question.
Okay.
This was submitted by one of our Facebook followers on Downtown Bentonville's Facebook page. 3 years ago, I would have thought this was a really strange question.
Okay.
Today, maybe not so much. But the question is, would you want to fly to outer space one day, or have you already flown to outer space, Steuart?
Oh.
I've been looking forward to asking this in the whole interview.
Busted. No, I'm actually, No is the question.
Are you breaking news here? Or
No.
something?
I'm actually going to Mars this weekend, so.
Is that why your family's coming
Yeah,
down?
we're headed out.
So no plans on that in the near future?
No. I haven't. I'm very intrigued by the kind of private space companies that are operating now. I think it's fantastic. I think it's innovation. I think that they're risking a ton to try to advance humanity forward. And, you know, I'd love to go to space. I'm not quite ready. I don't think the technology's quite ready. I admire Jeff Bezos for going, like, tip of the cap.
Tip of the cowboy hat?
Tip of the cowboy hat, yeah. But no, I haven't been to space and no immediate plans to go. And I am not crossing my fingers when I say that.
You heard it here first. He's not heading to space. You're going to stay right here in Bentonville.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy here. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty sure that, like, you could go a long way in space and not get to a nicer place than, you know, Northwest Arkansas.
Perfect ending. Well, thank you so much for
you.
giving us some time, and thank you for joining us.
You can watch the entire hour-long interview with Steuart Walton at downtownbentonville.org. Now, after the break, we're going to stick with this futuristic theme and get a preview of a new, much-anticipated restaurant, Conifer, coming to downtown Bentonville.
Home is a place we've all seen a little too much of these past few months. But home was all we had. So as we go back out into the big wide world, maybe we'll return with a new appreciation for the place that kept our loved ones safe and close beside us. Because even after 114 years in the business of home, one thing is more clear than ever. When home is all you have, you certainly have a whole lot.
Come experience a part of history in the beautiful town square of Bentonville, Arkansas. At the Walmart Museum, you can discover Sam Walton's beginnings as an American leader and the store that paved the way for Walmart's role in helping people save money and live better. With interactive displays, retro souvenirs, and the Spark Cafe, Walton's Five and Dime is a little slice of Americana. Come celebrate the cornerstone of Bentonville's past, present, and future.
It's going to be quite a scene.
Second time ever in the United States, and it's in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
The amount of sound will be deafening.
It'll be unlike anything that anyone has ever seen in Northwest Arkansas.
Make the Scott Family Museum in Bentonville your destination for fun, fun, fun. With over 50,000 square feet of interactive exhibits and ample space outdoors for free-range play, the Museum is your place to create amazing experiences for the entire family. It's a hit with families and children of all ages. Plan your visit at amazium.org.
Welcome back. Brook Beer House recently joined Chef Matt Cooper on a natural adventure to Hobbs State Park to discuss his new restaurant, Conifer, opening in 2022 right here in downtown Bentonville. Take a look.
Welcome to Natural. This is the series where we take featured locals out of downtown and into our natural state. When people first move to downtown Bentonville, their searches tend to include best spots to eat in Northwest Arkansas and best spots to go out on the trails in Northwest Arkansas. My featured local today, Chef Matt Cooper, is an expert in both of those fields. He knows a thing or two about good food, good people, the community, and the best trails. So today, we are getting an exclusive look at his new restaurant and concept in downtown Bentonville, and then we're gonna go out into Hobbs State Park for a canoe trip where we're gonna have more of a coffee conversation and get to know Chef Matt Cooper. So it is a jam-packed episode. Let's get started.
So right now we're in what will be Conifer. And obviously it's a construction site where people like Newell Development and stuff like that were good friends of mine. They were going to build this building, and they said, we really want this beautiful space and this beautiful restaurant, and we'd love for you to do something. It's the culmination of almost 20-something years of my culinary career and my dedication to the community and to people, and it can go even deeper than that, right? We'll have a 200 square foot farm stand outside of the restaurant, but in the building that will have local organic produce, meats, and some organic things and some little grab and go, and then potentially some farm boxes later on, not only for the tenants, but for the community as well.
I grew up in Arkansas. A lot of the times in rural places. My father was a preacher, so we lived in, I think I've lived in 32 different places in my life. Yeah, nature is extremely important to me because I think it roots us and it kind of brings us back to a point in our brains where we can exist away from everything that happens on our daily lives, much like a kitchen. And that's probably hard for some people to understand, but I could definitely describe a kitchen and service to that of being out in nature. Because my brain is hyperactive, and it takes my brain to a spot where I can relax and focus on what I want to, and it gives me the opportunity to do that.
Conifer will be 100% gluten-free. I'm celiac. There's something missing from the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to just open another restaurant. Opening something that's needed, right? I don't want to compete with all my friends who are chefs that are we're trying to move this community together and forward. And Northwest Arkansas has this amazing culinary community, and they're pushing food forward, and we're really trying to develop the conversation between farmers and chefs and the community and the farmers market, and really elevate us all together and to where it's beneficial for all parties. And I think that's really great that we have the opportunity to do that.
Up next, Heather on the Street gives us a look at the Bentonville Christmas Parade. We'll be right back. The Bentonville Christmas Parade was held on December 11th in downtown Bentonville, but you can watch our Christmas Parade show on Christmas morning on KNWA. But first, let's get in the holiday spirit with Heather Shelton.
I'm on the streets right here, live, going out to see what people are doing out here in the crowd. I mean, to sing Christmas music. Oh, wow. Do we want to start caroling out here? Don't give me a microphone with a whole bunch of people, because I will turn into Beyonce. How are you, darling?
I'm good.
How many times you been in this parade?
Never.
We've got a first time. Anybody else a first timer? Oh, Bentonville, I love to see it. It's my first parade, too. We are going to get crunk. We've got animals out here, guys. Hello, little baby dog. Say hi, Daisy. Hi. Hi, little baby Daisy. Who got a singing voice on them? Me, 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 me. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Would you like a kiss?
Oh, is it that kind of parade? Oh, a Hershey kiss. You know what? I'll take that. I'll take that. Look. We all friends.
I think my favorite part of the parade is seeing the Santa on the float.
Okay, for somebody to not be asked a question, but to be ready. This one has a future on camera. Don't nobody say nothing to her. She was like, okay, I'm ready. Come to me right now. Right.
I think I like the lights most.
Guys, give it up for our city. These lights are amazing. I know all y'all done took selfies by these lights.
Bentonville Parks and Recreation Department.
Come on, Bentonville Parks. Give it up for Bentonville Parks and Rec.
3,100 hours to put these lights up. They start in September. It's amazing.
Oh, the parade has started.
It just takes a little bit of time to get down the road.
Right.
We are rocking and rolling right now.
It started. It's coming. Are we still awake? This parade has already started, according to Andrew. But all we're doing is waiting for it to get to us. But it is coming. I'm excited that you're here. You're so adorable. Okay, blue is a great color on you. Don't let anyone ever say anything different. Pretty girls, what up? How are you?
Good.
What are you most excited about tonight?
Seeing Santa.
That's right. Everybody need to be ready for Santa. All right, this parade is about to get started. I love those earrings. When you come out blinging, that's when you know.
Thanks for watching. You can rewatch this episode on our Facebook page or at downtownbentonville.org. And don't forget to watch the Bentonville Christmas Parade on Christmas morning right here on KNWA. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
We hope you enjoyed this episode, produced by the community nonprofit Downtown Bentonville, Inc. Our team works year-round to build and promote a welcoming and lively downtown Bentonville through experiences, education, and storytelling. Last year, as events were put on hold in our region, Downtown Bentonville, Inc. launched Downtown Media, a community-supported, community-driven storytelling platform. You can see our videos on social media, before movies at Skylight, and right here on KNWA. If you would like to learn more about DBI and Downtown Media, or be featured in one of our storytelling projects, or support us in an upcoming year, please visit downtownbentonville.org.